Godspeed, Rogue One. Or is it force speed? Warp speed? Line! Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Xaereth Prevails. We're going to talk about unlocking the profundity. We put the fun in profundity, or maybe because it's going to cost some money, we're going to we put the fund in profundity. Or maybe we, Admiral Raddus at least, if you look at where the letter F is here, maybe he puts the F in profundity because he gets his face sliced off by Vader at the end of the movie. You guys can't see it, but that happens. So, you know, it's like F right as he gets his face sliced off. Maybe he was starting to say face. Who knows? Who knows, guys? Lots of really, really good questions to be asking, I'm sure. So, profundity. It's gonna compare to Executor, and I think we're gonna have to compare it in terms of what's required to unlock it as well. So let's go to my really cool compare. Oh, we're zoomed in way too much. All right, here's my infographic, I guess. I mean, if you guys want a copy of it, I actually already put it on my Discord server. You can find the Discord in the video description, and if you go to the Discord server, scroll all the way down, it's in the infographics channel. You guys can check that out. So free infographic that doesn't have my face on it. Wouldn't that be neat? So this is all just speculative, and I'll explain everything here in just a minute. What we do want to look at though is let's do zoom in the way we were before, because I just want to look at the Executor requirements right quick, guys. Just the quickest. So here's the thing, there are 7 pilots and 7 ships that are required for Executor, and in reality, there's not perfect overlap. Piett and Dengar are the 2 that don't have ships, because you can't unlock Executor if you don't have Executor, so Piett's off the hook. You're off the hook for now, bud. And then, I mean, that similarly to what happened on Hoth, I guess, when Admiral Ozzel took the bullet. Piett was off the hook though, so that was nice. He didn't care about Admiral Ozzel, as probably none of us should. Anyways, Dengar has band-aids all over his face and can't seem to hold down a ship or whatever. So, he's also out. That being said, okay, so what are the 2 new things to this list? So there's 5 pilots on the requirements that also pilot 5 ships on this list, but what are the 2 that don't? So TIE Bomber, obviously, no pilot, easy one. The one that's more interesting is Razor Crest, is because it requires a legendary character, which is Bando, of course, and he requires 5 other characters to unlock. So, you know, Razor Crest is the hardest to farm currently on this list, so probably worth taking a look at the very least. Razor Crest is pretty interesting. Let's go to the game now real quick, guys. Oh, and I do want to remind you, we're trying to mount the algorithm, guys. Please help. Please help. I would really appreciate it, folks. Truly would. Hit that thumbs up button, comment in the comments area, etc. Okay, so here's what we have. Just a more visual representation of the unlocked characters. So Piett and company, you know, it's bounty hunters and Imperials. They work together, which is probably a theme we're gonna look into in a little bit, but it's bounty hunters and it's Imperials. So, I mean, and this is just a representation of the Razor Crest unlock. You have to get all these characters. I mean, they don't have to be as relic as mine are, obviously, but you do want Relic 8 on your Bando, and I mean, if you can. The other thing I guess I should also point out is that we don't need Cad Bane anywhere here. He's the requirement character for Jedi Master Kenobi, and that works, that's fine, but you know, CG was like, hey, if you want Executor, you're gonna need a Xanadu Blood. Let's not even make him a requirement, because it's not Executor just isn't good without Xanadu Blood. At least not that good. I don't think he's that good. So, I mean, those are the requirements. It's Rebels and sorry, it's not Rebels. Gosh, we're gonna look at Rebels here. It is Empire and it's Bounty Hunters. Now, the thing is, Rebels don't have like a perfect counterpoint. Like they're not just some group that they just work with all the time. And then until I started thinking, what about scoundrels? You know, and like smugglers more specifically, because those characters are, you know, so we're gonna need rebels, of course, but then is there another group that can kind of go with them, kind of the way bounty hunters and Empire go? So that being said, I mean, Raddus is going to be the obvious one. Like, you need him to unlock the ship that he's going to pilot, obviously. So, you know, he's just sitting there, just hanging out, chilling. Can't even farm him yet. So, I mean, except if we want to just spend all our money. But I don't want to do that. Don't really want to do that. Not exactly. So, all right. The question is, we're not gonna need. Okay, so these are the Rogue One pilots here. Note the Bodhi Rook is just not here, and I should put him on the infographic actually, guys, but he's not on there. He's not on there. Spoiler alert. But I don't think we need all 5 of these characters. And actually, I think I'm gonna fix that infographic. Hold on, guys. Hold on a sec, guys. Look at that. You guys can't see it, but I fixed an infographic mid-video. How dedicated is that, folks? All right. So, let's look, though. I mean, if we're going to have 7 characters to unlock, and obviously nothing is set in stone. They're not going to just be like, oh, shoot, Zareth said that. I guess we just have to just do what he says. I mean, I think that some of these characters are going to be required, and the others are just kind of implied. It's like, okay, if you want to use these characters with the Raddus, then just go ahead. If they're going to use those ships, then just go ahead and gear all the pilots. But we're not going to make you. We're gonna pretend like we're cool. So, I mean, they're not going to require 7 characters and have 5 of them be these 5. That's just crazy talk. Like maybe 2 of them, maybe. 2 of them. We're going to have Dash, almost certainly. Maybe he won't be a requirement because they'll be like, you know, he's needed for Starkiller. We'll just require his ship. But one way or another, Dash is in the mix for sure. Another one that I'm like, well, I don't think it's going to be this guy, but he's probably worth looking at. Kyle Katarn might be. In the old lore, he's a rebel. You guys know that. He's a rebel fighter in the game. But he also has a ship called the Moldy Crow, and it would fit the motif just a little bit, because I have a feeling that, you know, because we're going with scoundrels as kind of the tie-in to this, you know, rebels and scoundrels motif. Gosh, I'm just talking in circles, guys. I'm tired. But here's the thing. I mean, Moldy Crow seems like it's very plausible. It's a good ship for that. It's a, you know, like kind of a smuggling scoundrel kind of ship, just like Dash Rendar, who is not a rebel in the game, and yet his ship is. I wouldn't be surprised if Kyle Katarn had the same kind of thing going on. I think it's a long shot, but it's worth taking a look at the very least, guys. And then, I mean, here's you know, we could have the Millennium Falcon required, but not have the characters required, because they're legendary characters, or at least one of them's a raid boss, the other one is a legendary. But, I mean, I think that that's the perfect opportunity to put the Falcon in without requiring the characters. Otherwise, if you want to go with Scoundrels, again, you could go with Landino and L3, and actually, I think that the likelihood of them being on there is not too low. I think it's very possible that they're going to be on there, because, or at least one of them, or at least Lando's Falcon, because none of them is required for anything. And I mean, I just happen to have them high relic here, but I do think that they fit that scoundrel theme one more time. It's smuggler specific, in fact, and yeah, I think that could work. And then finally, if they release Rogue Red 5 as the next Conquest character. That would just give us enough time to farm Admiral Raddus up to 7 stars and get him relicked and stuff if we wanted to. You know, if we hustled, we'd have to hustle. But then we'd also be able to get Red 5 as the next Conquest character. And, you know, if that's the case, we'll probably end up with Farm Boy Luke. So, I mean, it's worth taking a look here. Here, let's go look at the infographic one more time, just for a quick last overview. Whoa, we're on the infographic. Okay, so here's the thing, guys. Let's take a look, just going down the line here. So Raddus versus Piet, obviously. I mean, one of these is probably going to be Relic 9, frankly. I mean, it's been out for a while. I wouldn't be surprised if Raddus at Relic 9 was required. And that if that's the case, they're going to give us time to farm Raddus. I think they will, up to 7 stars before they release the ship. But we don't want to take too long. Do double or triple refreshes, I think. Dash is, I think, probably going to be required. I mean, if you look at the Outrider, I mean, that was the big giveaway. I called it when his Outrider was released. I was like, oh, I bet we're gonna get I even called it Profundity. I was like pretty confident that that's what we were gonna get, and in fact it looks like we're going that way. So you know, we're gonna have the Outrider. Dash seems like a natural fit. Jin would be the one that goes really well with Raddus, and whether or not we hate CG, they do like to sometimes link the better characters, and Jin is going to be super important to Admiral Raddus anyways, one way or another. So Farm Boy Luke would be the character who piloted Red 5, and I mean, I would not advise putting a ton of relics on him right now, but he's someone that you need to be prepared for. Like, maybe get him to gear 12, maybe that's just a happy medium. I'm not sure. He's not useful other than maybe as a potential pilot. Scarif Rebel Pathfinder, maybe, you know, just one of those other characters. Bodhi Rook would fit really well as the counter to Dengar there, guys. I think that's very possible. And then maybe Kyle Katarn, maybe Landino, something like that, you know, L3 for the final character. And then for ships, Outrider, the 2 U-Wings, which are also Rogue One, which would fit with Raddus. Han's Millennium Falcon, not requiring the characters to be geared, but I mean, you have to have those, you have to have the ship anyways. Lando's Falcon, because again, if you don't have to force the characters to be geared in the requirements, they still have to be geared if your fleet's going to be good, if that's going to work out. Red 5 as maybe, I mean, that might be a stretch, frankly, guys. Like, requiring a Conquest character to be unlocked the first time, I mean, that seems like maybe a stretch. Maybe they just require Farm Boy Luke and not Red 5. And Moldy Crow also, I mean, I think that Red 5 and Moldy Crow are the 2 biggest question marks. Otherwise, you could just add random pilots and ships from Rebel faction. I think that that's probably fairly safe, at least. I don't know. You guys can let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. I mean, I think overall, you work on Dash and start really seriously working on Outrider. Get Raddus kind of, you know, geared up and stuff. You don't have to throw his Omicron on or anything. But, I mean, all these different things, like, start looking at Scarif Rebel Pathfinder and Biston. I mean, they're pretty good. They're pretty good in that ship context, and you never know. They might end up being really good on the Raddus team regardless. So, I don't know. What do you guys think? What are going to be the requirements? I feel like this is as good a bet as any, but I could be wrong. I'm not the sole arbiter of truth or anything, guys. Let me know. Hit me up in the comments. Thank you all so much for watching, and remember that in all things, Xaereth prevails.